problem. You have the mic. It's going to be a better record. I left my mic upstairs. Thank you. Okay, first. What?
You have the quotations after?
Who? That's important right now? I don't know. It shouldn't be, but it's not. Oh, thank you.
You have the quotations?
No. So give it to me, Safari.
I can't pull up Safari.
I have. Okay, first thing I want to say here, this. I'm sorry, I'm late. I got caught up in the Torah with somebody else. I forgot the time. I promise. Someone had to come get me because I forgot the time. And the reason is because when you get into the Torah of the Rebbe, when you get into, I gotta go how much closer?
Bring it to you. Put it from the side.
But how do I have the safe? I need the Rebbe safe.
The other side.
The other side? Like left side?
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Whatever you want.
You pull up Safari? Did you pull up Safari for him? Or the quotations?
That's good.
Give me a minute. First thing I want to talk about and to thank our uncle, we call him Uncle Jesse, but Reb Chaim Kramer and Tzvi Kramer, for giving the opportunity of being Magdal Torah. Reb Yonis and not over there. To be Magdal Torah in this beautiful heichal Torah. Anybody who, I don't know how many people were here. This is the 5th year that we're doing this heichal Torah. Before this, there was not really a Makom Torah. The Zichah wasn't such a big Makom Torah. And Baruch Hashem, now BRI merged with Kol Torah's Chaim to bring more Torah and more awareness and more achna and understanding, trying to understand what it is that we're doing here, why am I here, what do I do here, and what do I take home from here. Jonathan, am I saying good? Okay, good, Akdam. So the first thing is to promote that the biggest, I think, in my personal, everything, by the way, big disclaimer before I start, is I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking my feelings and I'm sharing them. Not everything is sourced, most are not, and I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. But this is the way I feel right now, and I'm going to share my feelings, even if I'm wrong. And you can correct me afterwards. I'm sure you will. And you can correct me afterwards. And the next year I will bring that correction, believe neder, and say I stand to be corrected, and it's okay. I want it because I need tshuva. Yishma b'zyon either way.
I corrected yesterday.
Yeah. So I remind you, and I'll say it right now. Remind me of correction. What? Someone came to me. By the way, that's the next speech. Someone came to me about a speech that I said last year, something that I said, he corrected me, and I said, I can't correct it, I really believe that. So I said that everything is controlled here in Oman, the whole world is being controlled in Oman. He says, you said a big statement. I said, yeah, what should I do? That's what I believe. So in belief, unless you could change my belief, yeah, that's something else. Anyway, but I really want to it's not just a shout out. There are a lot of people here that know what I'm talking about, a lot of people that don't know what I'm talking about. I don't think that there's another organization that did for the expansion of awareness of the Torahs of the Rebbe and the Sichos of the Rebbe more than BRI, Breslov Research Institute, like we call them, Uncle Jesse, Reb Chaim Kramer, Tzvi Kramer, and their organization needs help. I just want to say like this, there's not a fundraiser. I don't allow fundraisers because if I was fundraising, I'd fundraise for the heichal Torah, and I'm not doing that yet. But I do want to say that you should know that this, what brought Torah to the world, Torah's Rabbeinu to the world in a way that was never before, was Reb Chaim Kramer, and he did it. You ask him how he did it, he will tell you he did not know how, he can't tell you how he did it till now. And he raised millions and millions of dollars, and he still doesn't know how he did it. So anybody that could help out in any way to this hafazah, it's very, very, you're giving, it's tzedakah l'tzadik, that's zero lechem, the Rebbe says in, I think, Torah Yud Zayin, zero lechem l'tzedakah, or is it in Torah Dalet Second Chelik? I'm not sure. I need Rabbi Yonason is the source guy, or wherever it is. It's that tzaddik gives kiflei kiflaim. So any dollar or any support that you give, whether it's monetary or physical or spiritual or emotional, any kind of tzedakah that you're giving, you're getting back kiflei kiflaim. So it's highly recommended to get involved with the avodah of Reb Chaim Kramer and Breslov Research Institute. Akdama 1. Akdama 2 is that recently we had a tragedy in family Breslov. And you have to understand, after we learn this Torah of Be'ez Hashem, we're going to come to understand what Reb Nachman's family is. I don't know if it's Breslov. Breslov is also part of it, but a big part of it. But we grew up in Breslov. I grew up in Breslov family. And we lost a very dear friend this past year. Sudden death, very young. From Nachum ben Shmuel Yehuda Leib Landerson. Very big Breslov family, and the reason why we appreciate it so much is growing up there weren't a lot of people that were Breslov. So there was 2-3 families in America that were Breslov, and this is one of our family members, and a Yedid Nefesh from all of us. So we have a shiur every day that we learn the Kutei Eitzes. I want to learn one Eitzah that we're in the middle of Shmir Sabris before we talk about the Torah. If you'll allow me, the whole shiur is Leila Nishmasa. But just to be mamshech what we do together over here, because several members are here, I want to just do it. And we'll say, we'll say the first piece here. Even though God that we're holding Lamed Hey. Let's go to where we're holding. We are holding Lamed Hey. I'm just going to what I see. This is where we're holding. Through Taiva Sniv. Anybody know what that is? Taiva Sniv is the Taiva, the challenge. Yochel Lovoi L'Shigoy, you could go crazy, you could really snap and go crazy. Liois Meshuga Mamash. Alkein Kosvu Chachmei Arofim, Sha'aserus Urefuel Meshuga. The Rebbe says that the scientist said, I don't know what the English word is of serus, help me. A person that they take away the ability for him to have. It takes away the tool. What is it called? Sterilization. That's why it's a refuah for Meshuggah in the psych wards. When a guy is wacko in this, he went snap and he just can't control himself wherever he is, so they have to be Nasarasim, they have to sterilize him. Okay, that was just to continue our shit. So let's go into this Torah. I want to tell you, open your hearts. First thing, everybody hopefully will get to touch on what am I doing here. And the truth is, Be'ez Hashem, tonight, everybody's invited at 9 o'clock tonight. I would like to talk about not the Torah, just talk about stories and sharing stories of being by the Rebbe. Anybody who wants to come right here is invited to come. We did it last year. Be'ez Hashem, we want to do it again today. But today, I'm going to get to touch, hopefully, get to touch on those Nakudas by bringing you all into Torah Samachal. But it's very hard to bring you all into Torah Samachal because Torah Samachal is the smallest Torah in Likutei Moharan is packed. So Torah Samachal, just to get all the ideas, it's not shaykh to do it in 45 minutes. So we started this yesterday a little bit, and I want to do it a little bit more today. Because the main part of the Torah that the Torah gets to is to explain really what are we doing? Why are we here? That's the Torah. The whole Torah, and this was, by the way, this is brought down that this Torah was the tzavah, the will and testament of Reb Nachman. The will and testament, I want to tell you, my father told this to me when I was a kid. Torah Samachal was the will and testament. I remember learning Torah Samachal. I said, yeah, Emunas Chachamim, yeah, I'm sure. And I learned it several times in my life, and I got different ideas. But I didn't understand why this is the tzavah of the Rebbe. So I want to ask everybody one question. We started this yesterday. We're going to do a little chazara, and you'll correct me again. How many decisions do we make a day? Thousands, right? Rabbi Yonason would probably tell me more meduyik, like an exact number. But how many decisions do we make a day? Thousands. How many decisions do we make in our lifetime? Billions, right? How many of those decisions were good decisions, and how many of those decisions were bad decisions? I don't know about you, but in my lifetime there definitely was more bad decisions than good decisions. And bad decision, well, what's a bad decision, what's a good decision needs a beer also. But a bad decision is not just a decision and decision goes away. That bad decision, any decision, has a life to it. The Rebbe calls it a heichal. And the Rebbe says that the heichal, each heichal haprati, this individual heichal, which pashtus just means, every time I make a decision, I calculate. I have to make calculations. Should I or shouldn't I? That calculation is coming from something called heichal. That heichal, I wish I had a chart here, because we're going to use a lot of different words that really are saying the same thing. That heichal, says Rabbeinu, is called kodesh, holy. Even if the result of that heichal is not holy, it's a bad decision, it's a hatorah chas v'shalom, the heichal is kodesh. And the Rebbe explains why. Because how did God create the world? Rabbi Shem created the world with this concept of tzimtzum. Tzimtzum means, my definition, is to take something large, big, and to be mitzamtzim it, and to make constricted, constrain it. Whatever word you want to use, I'm not good in the English language, so please forgive me. I'll probably use a wrong word, but from my body motion, you'll be able to understand. It's taking a bigger thing and making it smaller. What happens when you take something big and you make it smaller? I said yesterday, a dugma, I have a cabinet making shop. I make wall units and custom furniture. I'm not involved with it anymore, but for 30 years that's what I did. If anybody lived in New York, Frankel's Furniture, Frankel's Furniture, that's me. So everybody, it was a time where almost every house had something from us. How do we make this furniture? There's a big, let's say I want to build a wall unit. I take a huge 4x8 sheet of wood, 4 feet wide, 8 feet wide, I make a cutlass, and then I cut that sheet into parts, and then I take those parts and I reassemble it back into what you see as an end result as a wall unit. So what am I actually doing? In order to create something, I'm being mitzamtzem. I am taking something bigger and I'm making it smaller. But what happens if I just cut the piece of wood and I don't attach it to anything? So all I did is I destroyed it. I made something bigger, smaller, and there's no sweetness in it. There's nothing there. So what the whole hamtaka that I do is, in order to make this piece, is to take this piece of wood and take this piece of wood and this piece of wood. And where does that all come from? From the process of my decision to cut this big piece of wood into a smaller piece of wood, because I had foresight to see that this smaller piece of wood, even though it's tzimtzum and din and harsh and has nothing by itself if it stayed like that, but because in the heichal that drove me to make that decision, that piece of wood has a purpose. And when that piece of wood will be brought to its purpose, then it's going to be a beautiful structure, right? The same thing happens with the Bria. Because Baruch Hu made a tzimtzum. He took away his infinite light. The Rizal says, tzimtzum es ha'or l'tzdadim. He was mitzvah. We're not going into the thing, v'nasach al ha'ponim. We're not going to but the concept of the creation was tzimtzum, but a tzimtzum, that the tzimtzum is going to bring me, because the heichal, the chachma ilah of that tzimtzum was going to bring the ultimate tikkun to the world. And that's why Kodesh Baruch Hu made this tzimtzum. The first tzimtzum, the point of origination, was what day? What day of the year? Rosh Hashanah. So Rosh Hashanah we call it, what do we call Rosh Hashanah? We call Rosh Hashanah Yom Adin. What does it mean, Yom Adin? is the day that this big thing became small. But there's a purpose to all this. So that means so let's go to the origination of creation. The first, I don't know if the first thing that was created, but the Chazal tell us the Even Shesiyah. What's the Even Shesiyah? What is it in English? Foundation stone of the world. What does it mean, the foundation stone of the world? Shemimenu hushtas ha'olam. I need help. What's hushtas in English? But the whole world came out of this, but I'm sure there's a better English word for it. I'm not good in my vote. I failed, by the way. My English region, I failed. But I stole my diploma, so I graduated high school illegally. So, Mimenu hushtas ha'olam. So the Even Shesiyah, the Rebbe tells us, this Even Shesiyah is the original tzimtzum of all the tzimtzumim. And not only is it the original tzimtzum of all the tzimtzumim, but every tzimtzum that will happen from the beginning of time until the end of time is recorded on this Even Shesiyah. So now, if we say that Mishpat, which is decisions, the Rebbe says in the beginning of the Torah, Mishpatei Hanhagos Yisharos. If we say that our decisions are aligned, are recorded, every decision that I do, bad, good, no matter what I do, is all recorded on the Even Shesiyah. So the Rebbe is giving us a myriad understanding here that Tzimtzum, the original Tzimtzum, has in it all the Tzimtzum. Let's leave that for a second. We said before that my decision making, when I make a decision, guys, if you don't mind, I don't know if there's room over here. Come over here. Come over here. Bring chairs from outside. Come inside here. We'll stand here. Hot. Okay, so the Rebbe. So let's just follow these things, that I would like to say it inside with the Rebbe's words, so it doesn't sound like my interpretation. So the Rebbe is telling us that my bad decisions that I made in my life, 56 years, they are called mishpat ma'ukal, distorted decisions. They're not called bad decisions, by the way. It's very interesting. He doesn't call it, it's distorted. It's distorted. Why is it distorted? We'll see in a second. And what is a good decision? The Rebbe has 5 different names for it. Mishpatenu le'or. My mishpat goes, my decision making becomes or. By the way, it's not just decisions. It's mishpat is global. This global, personal mishpat is a very big word. I wish I had Rabbi Yonis in here because he would give you the 15 different ways that mishpat can be interpreted. But it goes down all the way down to my individual decisions that I make every minute of the day. So the Rebbe uses 5 different lashonos. He says mishpatenu le'or, mishpatei barur, clear decisions, mishpatei emes, which is truthful decisions. Then he says mishpatei hanhagos, decisions on how to conduct myself. And then the last one is called mishpatei hanhagos yesharos. So most people that learn Likutei Moharan, and myself included, until we started learning Likutei Moharan Be'iyun, it's all the same thing. No, it's not. And I wish we had the time, because and almost every word we can unpack it and stick on the word for a full share. But it's not the same thing. It's a process. The process is, I don't right away get to mishpatei hanhagos yesharos. That everything I do is I'm conducting myself, because what is mishpat, and where does mishpat come from, and how do I achieve mishpatei emes, and what prevents me from having mishpatei emes? Says the Rebbe that if you want to go through this process, and this is how he starts the Torah, al yedei Emunas Chachamim, I want to read the Rebbe's words, Yecholim lahoitzi mishpatenu la'or. Through faith in the sages, Chachamim plural, I can be mitzi, I can take out mishpatenu la'or. What does that mean? Where am I taking it from, and where am I taking it to? First of all, mishpatenu is global. And or, what does or have to do with this? Emes. I want to come to the place that all my decisions are good decisions. And Hogus Yishoros, like he says afterwards, what does it mean, Or? What does it mean, Mishpateinu La'or? Because that's the goal. The goal is if we have Emunas Chacham, let's just take it as fact for a second, we will take out Mishpateinu La'or. Perhaps we could say that Mishpateinu La'or means that all my decisions going forward and all my distorted decisions that I had retroactively, and not just mine, but everybody from the beginning of time till the end of time, Klal Yisrael obviously, they're all gonna all of a sudden get a new light. Something new is gonna happen to them, even though they're dormanted, they seem dead, and that's something that I did 30 years ago. But I'm still affected by it because we said it before that mishpat, that decisions have a life of its own. And the life, there's something driving that life. That's called heichal. And that heichal is kodesh even when it was a negative decision. That it's coming from a place of kodesh that is really coming from a place of kodesh kadoshim that got mitzantzem, that became kodesh. So again, we have kodesh kadoshim, the holy of holies. We have kodesh, holy, and then we have tzimtzum, which we say, I wish I had a chart here, which is din, and din itself needs a hamtakuf, and the only way I can be mantik din is if I go to the shirish of the din. So what's the shirish of my decision? The calculation that I made to have that decision. Do you remember, does anybody remember all the bad decisions, how you calculated, even in business, by the way? You made a bad business investment. You can't, in order to go back to that decision, it happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 10, or even a year ago, or even a month ago. The exact calculation of how I went to make this decision, I can't go back to that place. Says the Rebbe, there is a way to go back to that place like a time machine. That even though 56 years of your life, not when you made bad decisions, 99.9999999% but your decisions were bad, distorted decisions. Let's change bad to distorted. The Rebbe comes and he says, I have a way to not only change it going forward, but I have a way that we can retroactively bring light into that decision, that all of a sudden that decision is going to become alive in the Mishpatei and Hagos Yesharos. How do I get to that place? I have to have something called Emunas Chacham. What does it mean? The Chayra Emunah is faith, belief. We spoke this yesterday. And Chachamim, which comes from Chachma, is intellect. Faith is not intellect. Intellect is not faith. So what does it mean, Emunas Chachamim? And why is it plural? Why is it not Chacham? So again, I'm going to try to take you into my space, and let's open our hearts for a second, and let's really go first our brains. Let's see. Do we have Emunas Chachamim? Do we have Emunas Chachamim? Most of us will say, of course, if you have, we're Yidden. Do we have Emunah? Let's start with that. We have Emunah. What does Emunah mean? There's much deeper analogies to than what I'm saying, but my simple understanding of Emunah means I am taking, and I have it a raya from this Torah, that I am taking my seichel haprati, because my peanut brain, you know my peanut brain? You also have a peanut brain that thinks that we understand everything, and we could understand everything. My peanut limited brain, and I take that and I surrender that to a much higher, I surrender that to a much bigger idea. Rashi says, on the Rebbe brings the pasuk, do not stray, or do not veer, do not stray from what our sages tell us, right or left. And Rashi says, everybody knows the Rashi. Afilu yoyim alecha al yamin shehu smol, val smol shehu yamin. The kol shekain imu yoyim alecha al yamin shehu yamin, val smol shehu smol. So Rashi makes a kal v'chayt. Let's learn Lundish together, everybody. Let's get into Lundish. Rashi is saying, you know what means? It means that when the Chacham tells you it's dark outside and you see that it's light outside, you say it's dark outside. But I see it's light. But I'm surrendering my brain that says, and my vision that says it's light outside, to the Chacham that tells me that it's dark outside. So Memela, the Kol Shekain is that when the Chacham tells me it's light outside and I see it's light outside, so it's not light outside because I see it's light outside. It's light outside because the Chacham said it's light outside. That's called Emunas Chacham. That even when that's the Kol Shekain, even when I see that Yemin is Yemin, it's not because I see it's Yemin. It's because the Chacham says it's Yemin. Everybody with me so far in this place? Okay. So Emunas Chachamim means, what? I'll ask another question. Why does the Torah say, who's Yemin and who's Smile? If you're the Chacham and I am the Talmud, your right is my left and your left is my right. So, and it doesn't say Yemin Cha Usmail Cha, and it doesn't say Yemin Noi Usmail Loi. It says Yemin Usmail, like there's only one right and one left. And we all know that just like our faces are not the same, we all think differently. So what's right to me and left to me is not right to you and left to you. So what's the Torah telling you? Again, perhaps the Torah is telling me that Emunas Chachamim means I'm not sitting opposite the Chacham. I'm sitting underneath the Chacham. And when I'm sitting underneath the Chacham, his Yemin is my Yemin. Or better said, my Yemin is his Yemin. And my smile is his smile. Smile is because I am aligned with the Chacham. And so what that I'm aligned with the Chacham? So where did the Chacham, the Tzaddik, where did he get it from? So Rebbe explains to us in this Torah that the Tzaddik got it from the Chachmas Hashem that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu put into Bria Sa'ir. The Eibishter created the world with Dvar Hashem Shamayim Nasu. The world was created with Dibur. Dibur is, how could you speak? Because there's a pronunciation of letters. Oisus. The word we say even in the Akdamas, I forgot the Ba'asa Kalila, I forgot with the easiest Ois to be pronounced, God created the world, which I think is the Ois Hey, because it's the one that you use the least amount of the five ways, 5 parts that we use in order to talk. Right. So there's an Ois that the Eibishter created this Bria. And the shape, the Rebbe says, the shape and the form and the picture of that Ois is Kulam B'chachma Osisa. He injected into the Ois a Chachma, that Chachma is the way the Eibishter wants that the entire Bria should be Noyah. That the conduct of the Bria should be according to that Chachma Za'ois. And who received that? Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu received that by Kabbalah HaTorah, because the Rebbe says that the Torah, when was the Torah complete? When was the Shleimus HaTorah? By Har Sinai. When was Klal Yisrael become a nation? By Har Sinai. And when the Torah is complete, then it's getting directly from Chachmei Ilah, from this Evan Shasiyah. What is the Chachmei Ilah? The Chachmei Ilah is the Chachma that the Eibishter put into the Ois of the Bria, that the whole Bria will be conducted, should be conducted according to this Chachma. And that Chacham gets that Chachma and he gives it over to the next Chacham. How does he give it over to the next Chacham? Because the Rebbe says, he brings the pasuk, V'Yeshua ben Nun, Malay Ruach Chachma, Ki Samach Moshe Yodov Olav. So Mati Galib said yesterday, I liked it very much. He says, why does it have to be Yodov? Ki Samach Moshe Yodov. So he said, when you tell a guy that he said it in Hebrew. It works better in Hebrew. Ani somech alecha b'shtei yadayim. You ever heard that thing? Ani somech alecha b'shtei yadayim. What does it mean b'shtei yadayim? That means I'm giving you the full trust, the full endorsement, the full. I'm giving you full. Yadayim is full. The Rebbe goes through a complete understanding. Ki samach Moshe yodav olav, and that's what brings the Chacham down to the next Chacham, that goes to the next Chacham until it comes to my Chacham, which the Rebbe changes the lashon from Chachamim to Tzaddikim. So now we understand that if I'm aligned with the Chacham, that my Yemin and my Small is the Chacham's Yemin and the Chacham's Small, so be'etzem, I am getting the Chachmas Hashem to me. So we all understand the Emunas Chachamim as one big thing. You know what the Emunas Chachamim is? I have a Emunas Chachamim. Every time I have a question on what I should make the decision, ding, 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 ding. What do I do? Chacham, what? Reb Chaim Kanevsky, whoever your mashpia is, whoever your Chacham is, what do I do? No. Doesn't exclude you from doing it. At times you have to do that. But you should be so aligned with your Chacham, of the Chacham, that you yourself become Yeshua benun malei ruach chachma ki samach Moshe yodav, because you're so aligned with the Chacham, and that's the place where we need to get to. However, we didn't get to it, and why didn't we get to it? Because we were paigim in Emunas Chachamim. And the Rebbe goes on. I don't want to go through now 4 pages. I don't remember any other place in the Likutei Moharan where the Rebbe goes 4 pages of negativity, of bad things. The Rebbe never goes down a spiral of negativity. He goes down what happens when you're paigim in Emunas Chacham. You go down a vicious spiral that ends up in us getting expelled from our land and us losing the Seidah Ibur, which is a whole thing from itself. The Rebbe goes through a whole thing of what happens when we're paigim in Emunas Chacham. But the biggest problem that we go through with Pagam Emunas Chachamim is navigating in our lives. How do we go through life? How am I going to, you ever ask yourself sometimes when you're challenged with a real big challenge, if I'm challenged now, and by the way, it seems that those challenges sometimes, they're like the biggest thing in the world, and if I don't get through this, I'd rather not be alive. You know, there's in Torah, okay, let's not get stuck. But I'd rather not be alive. But why? Because how am I going to get through this? What's the solution? How am I going to get through this? So how am I going to change that? What's going to change that? When I already fell out of the lineage, out of the Amudah D'Entzusa, out of this place of alignment to the Chachmas Hashem, and I was paigim, I was loyig. You know, by the way, the Chazal tells us, loyig al divrei Chachamim, the Rebbe brings it into the Torah, nidon b'tzoyra tachas. So everybody understands loyig, and I don't know this, I'm just saying my own shot here. Loyig as being, making fun. I think that loyig is not, it could also be making fun, but I think loyig is being skeptical. Skeptical, you ever have that? You went to ask a shayla, and the Rav told you whatever he told you, and you, even though you're going to listen, even though you're going to end up doing what he said, but there was that loyig, you were skeptical about it. And we all fall into that. Either we don't ask the Chacham, and our biggest challenge, my biggest challenge, I'm saying our, because anyone who can identify with it, and if not, maybe this is not the shiur for you. Okay, but if you can identify what I'm saying is, when I understood Emunas Chacham is, I have a life, and I want to go through this life and fit within the boundaries of the Torah, more or less, but I like my life, and I want to take all the Torah and fit it into the way I want my life to go. Now, of course, I get up with Torah mitzvahs, I have rules and regulations, I know I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But especially when it comes to Chachamim, when I have a question that there's no clarity to what I know, if I should do, yes do, or not do, and I really want to do, so I have an idea to do something this way. So either I won't ask the Chacham, because I know what he's going to tell me, right? Or I'll ask the Chacham, because I really want to be Erlich, and I'm working on myself. But it's going to be a challenge for me. It's a challenge for me, because really I want to fit him, the Seichel HaKlali, into my Seichel HaPrati. And that doesn't work. That's not Emunas Chachamim. Emunas Chachamim means I am giving over my Seichel, my peanut brain, to something bigger. So when I made Pagam Emunas Chachamim, and I fell out of this lineage, I need to fix. How do I fix it? Ready? Okay, here's the good part of the shit. Here's the good part. We're all, but there's a secret code here. But this secret code is, you got to really open up your hearts for the secret code. First of all, every single person that is sitting here right now is right now fixing all the Pagam Emunas Chachamim that he had till now, all the Mishpat Ma'ukal that he had till now, and giving power to all the decisions that he's going to make from now. How? So this is mind-blowing, first of all, mind-blowing. So the Rebbe says like this, you know why? Because we said before that if I need to be mamtik my tzimtzum, I need to go to the source of that tzimtzum. That's called the Seichel HaPrati. So I need but I can't get to the Heichal HaPrati because I can't remember every Heichal HaPrati that brought me to that tzimtzum, which was a bad, let's not call it a bad decision, Mishpat Ma'ukum, right? So the Rebbe tells me there's a trick. We can go to the Heichal HaKlali, which is where the Heichal HaPrati came from, which we called it before Kodesh Kodashim, to get to the Kodesh, to be able to give me light into my decision. So who is the Seichel HaKlali? Who is the Chachma Ilah? Who is the Even Shasiyah? Who is the Kodesh HaKadoshim? You know who it is? Rabbeinu Nachman ben Feiga ben Simcha, that we are all traveled. Everybody traveled a journey to come to this tzaddik, to this Chachma Ilah, to be able to fix not only all my Seichel HaPrati, not only all my Mishpat Ma'ukum, but we're coming to fix all of Klal Yisrael's Mishpat Ma'ukum. So now let's see the words inside, because this was just all Akdama to get to seems like to bring you as much as I can into the Torah, but you have to hear the Rebbe's words. And just let's translate it, but again, open your hearts, because it's not enough to get this in the brain. You need to internalize this. You need to make it a part of your belief, that your belief should become your yediyah. It's not just I believe, I internalize this. Says Rabbeinu Yinaveinik, V'zeu b'chinas, ma shenoisim al Rosh Hashanah tzadikim. We can ask questions, but I don't want to ask questions. Why does the Rebbe say noisim? There's we can say pshat in it, beautiful pshat in it. But the Rebbe says we travel on Rosh Hashanah to the tzadikim. Why? Ki Rosh Hashanah hu yoyim hadina shel kol Hashanah. You know what Rosh Hashanah is? It's the Yom Hadin. It's the day of all the dinim, all the tzimtzumim that will happen this year, that happened last year, all happens on Rosh Hashanah. So now I'm going to the place of origination of all dinim, but it's not enough. I'm coming to the tzaddik on the place, and what am I coming with? Rabbi Yisai v'kol echad ve'echad ba in kedushasai v'tzimtzumav. What's the difference between kedusha and tzimtzum? What's the difference? Kedusha, we said before, is the seichel haprati, because the seichel haprati is called kodesh. The tzimtzum is what came out, the decision, which either is mishpat emes or mishpat ma'okul, or maybe mishpat bara, whatever it is. It's some kind of a level of mishpat, because it had to be. A tzimtzum is mishpat, mishpat is din. So I'm bringing all my seichel and all my tzimtzumim where? El tzadik ador, to the tzadik ador, shehu bechinas kodshei kodshim. The tzaddik ador is kodesh kodoshim. You hear? I don't know. I'm sure there's skepticism in this room. I want to take away any skepticism, because we're right now in Emunas Chachamim. We're not going to be loyal al divrei Chachamim. We're not going to be skeptical. We're going to accept it. Tziyoinoi hakodosh kodesh kodoshim. Yeah. We're together. I need to know. Anyone who's not, you don't have to stay. But this is missionary 20, whatever you want to call it, highest. Tziyoinoi hakodesh kodesh. The Rebbe is kodesh kodesh. Bechinas even shesir. Bechinas ki Hashem mitzukei oz vayoshes aleim teva. Shehem atzadikim shaleim nishtas ha'olam. Ayidei zeh nimtokim kol adinim. So the Rebbe is telling us that when you come to the tzaddik for Rosh Hashanah, on Rosh Hashanah, which is Yom Adin, to the tzaddik who's the Even Shasiyah, which is Kodesh Kadoshim, and you're bringing your seichel haprati, your kedusha v'tzimtzuma, you're bringing your everything you got, your mishpat ma'okol, your averis. By the way, there's a sikha that the Rebbe said. I'll say it in English, that you bring me cement and bricks and I will build beautiful buildings. I said perhaps the cement is the tzimtzum and the bricks is the kedusha, or maybe vice versa. I don't know which one is which, but I interpret it this way. If I take a lot of cement between the bricks, I can't build a big building. But if I know how to take a little bit of cement, I can build a huge building. We're coming to this tzaddik with all our cement and all our bricks. A lot more cement than bricks. Maybe he could turn them into bricks somehow. I don't know how exactly he does it. I don't need to know. I just have to have emunah. I just have to believe that this tzaddik that takes responsibility for us, that gives us all the remedies in the world, and he says, come to me for Rosh Hashanah. I am not coming, this we'll talk about later tonight, but I'm not coming for Rosh Hashanah because everybody thinks, you know why I'm going to Ramnach, I need a Yeshua. I'm going to Ramnach for Rosh Hashanah because I need a ticket. I'm going to Rosh Hashanah because my Shalom buys everything. What? By the way, that's not why you're coming to the Ramnach for Rosh Hashanah. You're coming to Ramnach for Rosh Hashanah for one reason. Because Reb Nachman said to come to him for Rosh Hashanah. And I believe that if the tzaddik said it's dark outside and it's light outside, it's dark outside. And kol shekain, if the tzaddik tells me it's light outside and it's bright outside, and I see it, that's a gift. Wow, I can see. So yeah, I'm coming to the tzaddik because he told me, because I believe that he's doing. And by the way, the Rebbe said, all year you come to me for you. Rosh Hashanah, you're coming to me for me. I need you. I need you. Why does he need me? Because I need more tzimtzum. But there's one last, how much time? Oh, we got 6 minutes, perfect. There's one last prerequisite. There's one big, this is the secret. Rabbi said that you're going to walk away from here if you take this and you internalize this. Inside, you're going to walk away from this and you're going to walk onto the street now or stay in the heichal Torah or go to the tziyun with something new that you can carry with you throughout the entire Rosh Hashanah. And who knows if that won't make the whole difference and bring Mishpateinu L'Or and bring the Geula even before Rosh Hashanah. Because that's what's happening here. There's one more point, and I want to read it straight from the Rebbe. So the Rebbe says, So I have to say, I don't want to get stuck because I'm limited in time, but I'm going to say the words first. Everybody knows about Avnei Yaakov, right? Yaakov Avinu came back, 12 stones. Rashi says, all the stones were saying, and then it all became one stone. So the Rebbe is saying, this is what happened. The 12 stones represent the 12 Shvatim, which is all of us, Bnei Yisrael, that we got separated from Kaviyot, from this Evan Shasir, and the whole point is to come back and become one. Where do we come back to become one? When we come to the Tzaddik for Rosh Hashanah, and each person brings his tzimtzum, his kedusha, and here is the main point. Through the fact that we all become one. That means, what does it mean? How do I become one? This is so important. I'm just sharing. I'm sharing you something that I'm working on. It's not easy, by the way, but we can work on together. It gets much easier if we do this as a group instead of doing it as an individual. When I like you, I have a friend, right? Here, Mendy's my friend, my chavrusa. I have to pick you, Mendy. I'm sorry. Take one for the team. So, Mendy's my chavrusa, and Mendy has beautiful things about him that I love. I don't like, I love. But Mendy also has certain things that I don't really like, right? But because I have more things about Mendy that I like than things that Mendy that I tolerate, the things that I don't like, because I have more things that I like. Is that called love or is that called like? That's called like a lot, but it's not love. Love is when I love the things that I don't like. Not I tolerate them. That's only the process of getting to accept them. Because we all have things about ourselves that we don't like. But we're in denial. So when I see what I don't like in Mendy, it's not really what I don't like in Mendy. It's what I really don't like about me. But I can't see it. I denied it in me, but I'm able to see Mendy, and I don't see me. So the Rebbe is telling us here something so deep that by the tzaddik, we all come with our kedusha v'tzimtzuma. Kedusha, let's call it the things that I like, because whether it's kedusha or not is arguable, but no. The kedusha are the things that I like, and the tzimtzum are the things that I don't like, because tzimtzum is din. But we're all coming with our shortcomings. We're all coming with we have, like in Torah Lamed Gimel, the Rebbe talks about Tivu and Aku. So we said then, we're born with a toolbox. And in the toolbox we get certain tools. We have certain tools that we are a hammer and a screwdriver that we're able to build with. And then the tools, you ever saw a toolbox? I'm not a handy guy. But there are other tools that I don't even know how to use those tools. So in our toolbox that we're born with, we are born with our strengths and our weaknesses and our shortcomings. And all our life, we are protecting our shortcomings with our strengths. Because that's what ego is. Ego is a protection of my weakness. It's not a thing by itself. But when I come to this tzaddik, when I come here, I don't know if you notice, there's two things that I notice here in Oman that it doesn't happen. First of all, money loses value here. All the people that I meet in America, they're always talking about money. I meet the same people here, and we're talking about all the money people. That's not the nice thing. Even if they mention it, it's they're even embarrassed. They pull the guy to the side if they want to talk about a business, because that's not what we're here for. Notice, that's out. Money is not part, maybe in the tefillas, but it's not the conversation between the people. Every one of us come with our sins. Every one of us come with our shortcomings. Every one of us are coming here be'etzem because we want to fix all our mishpat ma'ukum. Because we want to, at least going forward, to take away the mishpat ma'ukum. The Rebbe is telling us that we can fix not only all the mishpat ma'ukum going forward, but all the mishpat ma'ukum that we did our whole lives, all the mishpat ma'ukum that everybody did. And to bring the Geula all by not being skeptical, by I'm here already, I'm going to be skeptical about this being the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Tell you, I'll end with a story. I don't know how much I said this a few times already, but it's a fresh story. Baruch Hashem, I'm here. This is my 37th consecutive Rosh Hashanah. And I had many different types of Rosh Hashanahs. A lot of Mishpat Ma'ukul Rosh Hashanahs, and hopefully some Mishpatei Emes. Hopefully that this will be the Mishpatei Emes Rosh Hashanah. But I got to see a lot of different people. I saw this place develop and grow, and I got to have a lot of stories. I had a story this week with someone who came for Shabbos, wasn't religious, and someone offered him to come to say, and he said, I don't want to go into all the pratim of the story. I want to get to the punchline of the story. I went through a whole process with this guy to get him to come to the tzin because he didn't want to come to the tzin. He says, what? I'm not religious. I'm not interested. I just came because I'm curious. So, what did he say? I brought him to the tzin. I got him somehow to the tzin. And at the tzin, I said to him, you're here already. What do you have to lose? Go say the tank of bilach, give the prut of the tzedakah, say the tank of bilach to him, hedge. You know what hedging is? Hedge. If Rav Nachman on the 0.00001% chance that Rav Nachman was right, what do you have to lose? You're going to go back to being you 15 minutes now from now, you do everything the same just for thee. But right before you go, I want to tell you one thing. Are you calling me? It says you're calling me. So, I don't know. It said, I told him one thing, dude, right before you go. I noticed from talking to you the last 2 hours that you and your brain are very good friends, but you and your hearts are not connected. For these 15 minutes, stop thinking with your brain. Throw away everything you know about religion, everything you know about anything for 15 minutes. And as I'm telling him, the guy starts bursting crying. I said, now go. Here, now, that's it. Exactly. Go. And I'm vadai. Baruch Hashem, he's staying for, I'll tell you like this, he's staying for Rosh Hashanah. He came to, he was going home today. Came to, Baruch Hashem, also had a yadnik, staying for Rosh Hashanah. I have no doubt. I've seen this movie time and time again, and the ending is always the same. We are by the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and we have the ability to fix not just myself, the world, and I'm here because the Rebbe told me, because I have Emunas Chachamim. But there's one main requisite that we're missing. We're all here, but there has to be a nechlalim yachad. In order for us to have Or Tzadikim Yismach, we're only a candle, we're a Ner Hashem Nishmas Odom. In order to make a light in a room, if you put a candle in the room, what's the story of the candle? The candle's story is there's light in the darkness. It's dark, but there's light in the darkness, but it's dark. But if you take 1,000 candles in the room, what happens? It becomes light. When we take thousands of neshamas that are lights with the kedusha and the tzimtzum, and we come to the tzaddik on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Dedina, we are bringing the ability for the tzaddik to bring Or Tzadikim Yismach into all the mishpatenu from the beginning of time to the end of time, all by us loving each other. V'nichlalim yachad anan b'chavivusa tal, Reb Shimon said. The whole Torah is on Reb Shimon. Anan b'chavivusa, anan we said is Rosh Tevis, Anshe Nachal Leveya. We are the soldiers and officers in the Malchus of the Yesh Echad. Shebizgalia ein lo shum memshala. Afal became Biskasia hu moishel al kol ador val kol tzadikei ador. And we are here, and all we need is this one little thing of surrender. Don't be skeptical and love everybody, and we will be zoicha to bring the Geula still before Rosh Hashanah.
Thank you very much.